It's nothing new for comedy to be a tool of bullies, but it is new for professional stand-up comedy to be a tool of the far right. And frankly, if you only care about money and fame, they are crushing it. Rogan's making so much money, he's not only an important political sycophant, he also agreed to go to church. You'd think that stand-up comedy would have an ungovernable streak that would make comedians naturally suspicious of any prevailing political wind, let alone the prevailing political wind of authoritarianism.
Comedians are supposed to be unparalleled badasses.
Those of us who grew up on Pryor and Carlin, I think, are a little bewildered to see these pros just laying down for money and power. I thought stand-up comedy was punk rock. It turns out it's elevator music with slurs. Let me tell you how Bill Burr is bucking that trend. He's doing it in a small way, but at least he's doing it. I also want to say thanks to the patrons who support this channel. I just released a workshop called the 30-Day Joke Garden free for patrons. You can also support me by watching my films and buying my books. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. There are only a couple of high-profile comedians looking around at all this Nazi bullshit and saying, this is bullshit. One of those is Burr. Another is Marin, Heidecker, Cross. Jeselnik makes fun of people being performatively anti-woke so that they can go on Rogan in his latest special. But my question is, why isn't all of stand-up comedy standing up together and saying, fuck this Nazi bullshit? I suspect it's because Nazi bullshit makes money and they want the money. They're probably also looking at Trump and Musk's rise to power and saying, well, that's where we're headed apparently, so I better figure out how to be more MAGA, not less. It's pretty weak, if you ask me, but I don't have to protect a multi-million-dollar fortune built out of saying slurs, so it's easy for me to judge those who do. On April 23rd, 2023, Burr went on stage at the Troubadour and performed a pretty loose set for a couple of hours. In that set, he poked a little fun at Elon Musk, or the Twitter guy.
You know who the new Steve Jobs is? Is that laminated-faced, hair-plugged cunt on Twitter. What do you mean, which one? The guy who fucking bought it.
Links to all these relevant Burr podcasts are below in the description, by the way, if you'd like to listen for yourself. But apparently what really set Musk off was Burr dismantling Musk's multiple Nazi salutes at Trump's inauguration. On the January 30th, Thursday afternoon, Monday morning podcast, Burr talked about Musk in particular and neo-Nazis in general and shit on them for thinking that Hitler is someone to be praised. He also shit on Musk for his multiple Sieg Heils. On February 17th, 2025, Burr said,
how about the fact that the Twitter guy he's not even from here. He's from South Africa. He comes to this country and wants to turn it into a fucking dictatorship.
According to Burr, Twitter flagged Burr's account right after that.
I'll tell you what's funny. I made fun of the fucking Twitter guy for fucking Sieg Heiling, not once but twice. And I never look at my emails. I was scrolling through my emails and it said my Twitter account had been flagged for I don't even tweet anymore. It had been flagged for whatever. What a fucking baby. Just like Hitler. A fucking baby.
Now let's be clear here. If Burr's primary motivation were wealth and power, he'd have shut up after February 17th. The wealthiest man in the world, who is now also the de facto leader of the United States, and apparent part owner of the nominal president of the United States, is signaling to Burr via Twitter that he doesn't like what Burr is saying. Burr could take the hint here. He could say to himself, okay, I'm a comedian. I'm not trying to live that Alexei Navalny life. I see where that ends. I'm not trying to get Khashoggi'd. I'm just going to go on ranting about any of the things Burr normally rants about and leave Musk alone. Now, this is a small thing in one sense because, as Burr says, he doesn't even tweet anymore, so why does he care if the Twitter guy turns off his Twitter? But the Twitter guy is also dismantling the US government, so that's a slightly larger issue. If Musk had an ounce of sense about this, he'd have used what Burr said about his Nazi gestures as an off-ramp to defuse the whole thing. Musk and his stands tried to downplay his Nazi salutes by saying it was all a joke. Well, if it's really all a joke, here's a comedian making fun of Musk for that joke. Musk could have played down the Sieg Heil moments by retweeting Burr and saying something like, tough but fair, or I might not agree, but I've always loved Bill Burr. Musk could have taken all the sting out of Burr's rant and used it for his own Nazi bullshit agenda. But no, because Musk is exactly the thin-skinned baby Burr says he is, he can't do that. He bought Twitter specifically to install himself as controller of every conversation, so he cannot let someone else pick him apart. Meanwhile, as far as I can tell, the rest of stand-up comedy is silent on Nazi Musk. They're going on as normal, going on each other's podcasts, promoting whatever, saying slurs and laughing, not even addressing Musk's Sieg Heils at all. It's a pathetic non-reaction, in my view, that lets you know exactly what kind of world these guys want to live in. Even if you don't want to get into the MAGA Nazi part of it, Musk is a pathetically awkward person with a huge amount of money and power. He should be getting dragged every minute by every comic for those things alone. But comedians, by and large, leave him alone. Weird, isn't it? I'm not even really a Bill Burr fan, but at least at this moment, why aren't more comedians like Bill Burr?
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe, and maybe jump on the Patreon if you want to help me make more. And if you want to talk about comedy writing with people who are trying to do it in a constructive way, we also have a Discord channel.